I take the promise back. Oh, and I must refuse your test. Push me and I will resist. This behavior's not unique. I don't wanna hear from those who know. They can buy the can, put on my clothes. I don't wanna live for them to walk. Never would have known of me before. I don't wanna be held in their debt. I paid off in blood, let I be wed. I'm already cut up and I guess I'll end up alone like I began. Yeah. Everything has changed. Absolutely nothing's changed. Take my hand, rub my picture, spill my t-shirt. I don't wanna take what you can't give. I would rather starve than eat your bread. All the things that others want for me. Can't buy what I want because it's free. Can't be what you want because I'm... Welcome to another horrid, terrible, despicable, abominable, socially awkward and unacceptable episode of The Apocalypse. And congratulations for choosing the apocalypse, by the way. Not what I would have chosen. Not the route I would have charted, son. And since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I happen to be that guide, your humble guide. Nicholas, so good to see you again. It appears by the second Donnie descends into mad tyrant territory. And nothing can be done. For who can make war with the beast? No one. Once the beast got the keys, now it's too late. Let us begin because I'm bloody tired. This is the headline I woke up to today, but I did wake up late. I apologize. New York Times, judge dismisses Trump's lawsuit against the New York Times. First, what this lawsuit's like days old, already fucking out the window. But you know Donnie, you know the devil, the Antichrist. He'll just refile it. They said he has like 28 days to refile. He'll refile, take it somewhere. He'll win in the end. They'll end up, writing a check for $50 million. And Donnie will be like, I won the case. It has nothing to do with that. I'm president and I'm a mobster. And, they worried. And I can have him arrested and thrown in jail. It has nothing to do with that. It was a settlement. I won the case. Well, the case doesn't exist as of now. So it must not have been a strong one. Don't worry. Donnie will judge shop and find someone that'll, take this to where he needs it to go. He always does. This is an ICE facility in Chicago. And there was tear gas, and there was throwing people on the ground, and there was bullets being fired, rubber bullets, I think. And I thought to myself as I watched it play out, I was like, where the fuck did this come from? One. Two, this is what they're going to use as an excuse to, walk the National Guard in. It was ugly. It was pretty fucking ugly. And it was just, when you watch it from a distance, forget what you know, your biases, whatever cult you're in. Just forget it. Forget it all. Stand back and just watch it play out. Watch men in helmets with machine guns and shields and full tactical gear spray people down with gas, throw them to the ground, do whatever. And just as a being in this fucking sad universe, what would you think of it? I know the answer. Without your political biases, what your daddy taught you, your granddaddy, the Republican Party. Without all that, just as a human, watching it, you'd be disgusted. And that's what you should be, son. Unfortunately, many of you are not. That's why your country is over, and that's why the world, as you know it, is over. Don't worry, the world's not going to explode. That's not the kind of over I mean. But it will be something else on the other side of this apocalyptic fucking disaster. So I assume they'll use this little whatever happened there today as an excuse to walk the troops into Chicago. Right, Rubes? Don't cry when it happens to your town, okay? Don't cry when you get the knock on the door from the Reich either. Like I told you 8 months ago. Ted Cruz, I wasn't expecting this. I guess, is that his podcast or something? The Verdict with Ted Cruz or whatever? I don't know. I was not expecting Ted to get uppity and shit. Ted Cruz on Brendan Carr threatening ABC over Jimmy Kimmel. I guess Brendan Carr is the guy who's in charge of the FCC now and can take licenses away. I'm not sure what his exact position is. But he's the guy that helped make the Kimmel firing happen, is helping turn your country into a place where the word liberal is illegal, and to be one will be illegal, and liberal views will be made illegal. We're watching them be made illegal by the second. Just like in the 30s in Germany. The liberals were the last obstacle to full right. That's why Hitler hated him so much. That's why Donnie hates him so much. Let's hear what Ted says. That's right out of Goodfellas. We shouldn't be threatening government power to force him off air. That's a real mistake. I was like, are you sure Ted Cruz said that? Because that sounds like Ted's getting uppity. And they did ask Donnie about this, what Ted said here. And Donnie's like, I disagree with Mr. Cruz. Brendan Carr is great and blah, blah, fucking blah. I'm amazed Ted said this. But there's more. Ted Cruz slams FCC chair Carr for threatening the media. Okay, so that Carr guy, he is the head of the FCC. What he said there is dangerous as hell. That's right out of a mafioso. It might feel good right now to threaten Kimmel, but when it is used to silence conservatives in America, we will regret it. I don't know if you noticed, class, and the Rubes don't care. But class, you, the ones that are still salvageable. I know Ted said this out loud, but I'm here to tell you, and it shouldn't take anyone to tell you, Donnie isn't leaving. He's not building that enormous ballroom so he can leave in 2 years. Nope. He didn't take the bride plane so he could leave in 2 years. Donnie staged a coup last time, class. So what's Donnie going to do this time, class, when his time's up? So even though Ted and people keep saying this, I get the sentiment, oh, when the Democrats take over and we're in the minority, they can use these tactics on us. No, you're not getting it. I don't know. Again, what more do you need to see to understand this a Reich, son, and Reichs don't give up power. They trying to do this for life, son. And if Donnie croaks in the middle of it, Stephen Miller, Leon, or some fucking other sociopath will step right in his place. It's over. The country is over. So all these comments amuse me about how this future time where Republicans aren't in power anymore, and these tactics can be used against them, and when people quote the law and this and that. He staged a coup last time, and every indicator is pointing to he has no plans on leaving. Have you seen what the Oval Office looks like? That's a man that doesn't plan to leave, son. So this future time where Ted is saying conservatives might regret it in the future, that's never going to happen. This thing that was America is no longer. It is in decline, and I mean sharp decline, and I'm not talking generational, 30 years, 20 years, 50 years. Nope. You won't recognize it in 5. That's if it lasts 5. Do you hear me? You won't recognize it. That's if it makes it that far. That's another thing. I don't think people really fully appreciate the gravity of what's a-coming their way. I do. That's why I'm the way I am. And me changing my outlook on life ain't gonna stop none of this from happening, son. Ain't gonna take them troops off your streets. Ain't gonna close them camps. Ain't gonna bring them dead fishermen back. So I'm not the subject here. I'm fucking irrelevant. You're the subject. All of you. You're in it. No, whether you want to be or not, whether you agree with me or not, irrelevant. You're still in it. And you going along for the ride, whether you want to or not. So again, this future time where Gavin Newsom's president or AOC or whoever, never going to happen. There is no future. The Reich will make sure of it. Let us continue. This is, again, Gavin Newsom and Rube Speak talking about grocery prices and inflation, and it looks like that. Mr. The Art of Sucking at Everything, that's in quotes, said inflation would end. Instead, it's skyrocketing. Now meet shrinkflation. No, it's not about his hands, height, or approval. It's when they shrink the product quantity, but keep the price the same. His cankles can use some shrinkflation. Well done. Okay, Donnie was... I think it was showing everyone the ballroom. I think this is where that gathering was. I think Donnie was looking at the ballroom because I heard like what sounds like construction noise. Like a lot of cordless drills and shit going. So I think that's what was going on. Donnie is all about this ballroom that you're paying for. I know Donnie says he has donors. That's in quotes. The proper usage. Reporter, some of your supporters are wary of the U.S. getting involved in another foreign war. Trump, do you ever ask a positive question at CNN? My supporters are more in love with me today, and I'm in love with them. Okay, we're at the point in the Reich and this 10 years that Donnie's been on the scene as leader for some of it, where it used to be like he'd only talk shit on one reporter a day. Now we're at the point where almost every question that comes out him, he's spending the time insulting the reporter, the network, everything, threatening their job, threatening their broadcast license, whatever. This is happening like multiple times a day now. 3, 4, 5 times. We're descending deeper and deeper into mad tyrant territory. It's really getting kind of frightening, and my God, it's always been cringe to watch. But any question, you point out one of his grifts, you point out one of his lies, you point out there's military on the streets, he's snapping on you as if you just asked the most rude question. How dare you point out his grifts, his lies, his thieveries, all of it, his treachery? How dare you in the media point that out? That's where we are. It's getting worse to where, and eventually it will be at the point where you will not be allowed to talk negative about the right on here, on television, out in public, anywhere. Yeah, it's going there, son. And every day he's showing you it's going there. One more time, people. Forget everything you know and just hear this. Every now and then a Hitler is born. We've seen it all throughout time. If you've done the most compulsory study of history, you in that time, Donnie's one of those people. Do you ever ask a positive question at CNN? My supporters are more in love with me today, and I'm in love with them. Well, ask the soybean farmers that voted for him if they're still in love. I doubt it. Ask the government workers that got axed by Leon, the Nazi salute guy, as he danced on stage with a chainsaw as they worried about how they're going to pay their fucking mortgage. Ask them, are they still in love with Donnie? The Trump administration tells Fox they are considering raising the retirement age for Social Security. Donnie didn't say that, someone else did. Said all options are on the table when that question was asked. All the things they're stealing, all the money being pocketed right now. And they want to raise the age on top of it, son. Donnie with a closet interview here, I see. It looks like this. Closet on the plane where Donnie's holding the thing and the door's going back and forth. Just such a fucking half-ass clusterfuck. You said earlier this week that the women who were protesting when you were at Joe's Stone Crab should be in jail. Do you actually think that is an offense that deserves jail time? The girls that were at the restaurant in D.C. that called him the Hitler of our time, and they said some other things. Trump, I don't know how they got in there. Yeah, I think they were a threat. A threat. They yelled a quick slogan, they got escorted out. To a dictator, yeah, that can't stand dissent, protest, whatever, doesn't believe in any of it. Yeah, he would say they're a threat to his power. That's about it. Amazing. This is Jesse Waters with the Couch Fucker on Fox News. And boy, this is a phrase only in 2025, only in the apocalypse, only where about 35% of this nation are abject rubes that have been so just fucking indoctrinated by this rhetoric for the past, 40 years. And especially the last 10, my God. Fox News says, I assume that's Jesse the fuckface Waters. The militant transgender movement, is that a domestic terrorist threat? Wow. We went from a little white kid from the woods, shot somebody, to the militant transgender movement. There's no such thing as the militant transgender movement. But this is the time of rubery. where it can be just the story, the facts can be pulled straight the fuck out your ass if it confirms your biases as a right-wing voter. I know this is a Reich, and we're going to see just abject absurdities like this put forth as alleged truth for an agenda in the future. Always. This was planned before you voted for him, son. Tried to do a lot of it the first term, couldn't get it done, didn't have the sycophants in place. They ain't playing this time, they're doing it. They don't care if we say yes or no anymore. Militant transgender movement. I mean, have you heard of anything so fucking absurd in your life? But you're in the 30s Germany now, son. This is the kind of absurdity that will be put forth as truth, so they can persecute you eventually. It begins with transgender, homeless, illegal, alien, visa holder, visa student. It ends with you. The couchfucker said in response to the militant transgender movement question, if you are encouraging people to commit acts of violence against the U.S. government or against your fellow Americans, absolutely you're involved in a terrorist movement. Are they going to try and say the transgender roommate that this dude allegedly has encouraged him to do it? I'm not even convinced they exist till I see a name, a face, something. This motherfucker, the right-wing grift machine, all the way up to Donnie, from Jesse Waters to Donnie, all of them, all of you. The militant transgender movement. It wasn't a transgender that shot Charlie. It wasn't a transgender that shot at Donnie. Somehow the transgender word is in this whole thing, though. I wonder why. I'm just picturing the stupid rube going about their business as every bit of freedom in their entire country goes away. This is the New York Times from 1939, Saturday, February 4th. Person says, I'm posting this for no particular reason. Goebbels ends careers of 5 Aryan actors who made witticisms about the Nazi regime. Witticisms, I guess, funny comments about the Reich. Goebbels ends careers of 5 Aryan actors who made witticisms about the Nazi regime. That's the headline. Does that sound familiar? Propaganda Minister Joseph Goebbels today ended the professional careers of 5 Aryan actors and cabaret announcers by expelling them from the Reich's Chamber of Culture on the grounds that in their public appearances they displayed a lack of any positive attitude. Again, you can't speak negative about the Reich, son. You're here. He getting people fired. He was getting people fired first term. Anyone that talks negative, that's hate speech. Look at it. That's you. You're in this article now. You are literally in a Reich just like they were in the 30s. Where up is down, down is up, 1 + 1 = 3. And you better agree with that. I imagine these people eventually ended up in a camp at some point. A lack of any positive attitude toward National Socialism. They weren't socialists. Just like Donnie isn't a family values conservative Christian. Yet he wants you to think he is. Just like Hitler wanted you to think he was a socialist. And his party were socialists. And Christians. Nope. They were neither. They did all the same things MAGA's doing now. They displayed a lack of any positive attitude toward National Socialism and therewith caused grave annoyance in public and especially to party comrades. No, you mean to the Fuhrer and to the Reich. The five include perhaps the best known German stage comedians who survived previous Chamber of Culture purges and still dared to indulge in political witticisms. And they name them here. I won't name them. Comedians, you say? The most prominent, you say? You've never seen anything like this before in your lifetime. Obama, Clinton, Bush. This is different. This is this. I feel like I'm reading an article about today. These were Aryan actors, son. What does that mean? That means they were the preferred complexion of the Reich. And they still fucked them. That's how serious the Reich was about negative talk about the Reich. That's how serious Donnie's going to be too. I want the rubes, even though they'll never see this, thanks to the adjudicated criminal Google. I want the rubes to remember that story. 5 Aryan actors. Colbert was white, Kimmel was white. Whether they're Jewish or not, that's irrelevant to me. Their skin tone I'm talking about. So if the old Reich was willing to do that to 5 top-level Aryan actors, what the fuck do they think you think they would do to you, even though you voted for them? Too late. And again, I feel like I'm reading about today. Just change the wording a little bit, modernize the wording. This is the sociopath Patel doing a Newsmax interview. You know, for when Fox News isn't evil enough. You go to Newsmax, OANN, get extra evil. Well, I mean, isn't Fox News the most evil when you got Brian Kilmeade like, let's kill the homeless? Sounds like a great fucking idea. Anyway, how do you respond to people who claim that there are prominent Republicans all over the Epstein list, and that's why this list will never be made public with a Republican in the White House? Patel, we have released all credible information in the Epstein case file, and there's absolutely zero credible info against Trump or anyone else. So now they're doing everyone else a favor by saying Trump's not in there. Not credibly. Rubes that will never see this again. These people promised you the files. They gave a bunch of podcasters in the beginning of this Reich, current one, a binder with already previous released info. So they released nothing. And even some of that previous released stuff was redacted. So that was a joke. That was theater. That was meaningless. They say there's going to be a round 2 of a release of files. Bondi says they're on her desk. Next thing you know, 1,000 agents are in the room. God damn, Donnie's name is on every page. 1,000 agents to redact, get his name out of there. They're at the point where even that was not effective enough. They had to eventually say, what are you talking about? There's no more Epstein files. What do you mean? Now you got Patel and others saying Jeffrey sex trafficked women to no one but himself. And one more time, all credible information has been released in the Epstein case file. There's zero credible info against Trump or anyone else. Come on, man. As Joe Biden would say, that's not even remotely believable. And again, it was the Reich that promised it. It was the Reich that said it was on their desk. It was the Reich that said we're going to have a round 2 of release. Now we've released everything. What are you talking about? They've released absolutely nothing that hasn't been seen already. Not one thing. We did get a note from Donnie to his best buddy Jeff with a silhouette of a woman and, the signature and the whole thing. We did get that. Maybe Mr. Patel could straighten his eyes and look at that, and maybe that's some evidence of something. Pretty damning evidence, I would say. So how does it feel, Rubes? You're your own people. I thought when your people got in, all the left-wing pedos were going to get arrested, rounded up. The left-wingers will get rounded up, but not because they're pedos. Because they're the last obstacle to Donnie's Reich and your subjugation. But that's what was supposed to happen, remember? And the files were going to get released. Now, fuck you. We've released everything already. You never get tired of being Marx. That's something I noticed about you people, and you know who I'm talking to. The White House in talks with the Taliban to return American troops to Afghanistan. Donnie wants to open up an air base back up in Afghanistan he's saying it's because of China. I think it's because of Israel and what they're about to do there. They know once Bibi and Donnie really get started in this, they know they're going to have some problems. And I have a feeling they just want some troops nearby and some planes and stuff nearby in case they got to use them. There may be some attacks from Iran, again, because of what Bibi and Donnie, once they start breaking ground and what they're about to do. So my personal opinion, I think he wants a massive troops and planes and stuff in the Middle East, just in case Iran or somewhere else starts some shit because of what's going to happen with Israel. Everything's about Israel. That's one of the really serious main agendas. Maybe Donnie will get his Nobel, and maybe how he'll get his Nobel is when he presides over the building or rebuilding of the Third Temple. Maybe that's when they finally give it to him. Just a thought. But this agenda is very important, and it's not just about casinos and resorts. There's something even more important that's going to be built. And all these people, Donnie, Britton, Bibi, they all know it. They all know what's going to happen. They all intended it to happen. Donnie wants it to happen. Again, I know most people out there don't understand the significance of the Third Temple, but it's very significant to this whole thing, man. It's a real portent that we're close to the end when that thing gets rebuilt. Again, there are some people that have studied prophecy over the years that have put forth the theory that, based on what they've read, that after the establishment of Israel as a nation, only one generation of humanity left before the end. Again, a generation can be thought of as several different numbers, 75, 100, 120, who knows? Under 100 years, the temple will be rebuilt. The temple is a portent of the end as well. Not because it's evil, because of what's going to take place there. Again, this isn't just going to happen organically. These people don't know about it. This is something that's going to happen in a year, year and a half, 6 months. This was planned by all of them. They all already know it's going to happen. Because they're going to make it happen, son. Using the tax money from the United States. That's where the weapons are going to come from that Israel's going to use to keep this thing going. That's going to pay for your troops that are going to be on the ground in Palestine, most likely. Remember Donnie said, Freedom Zone. We're going to own it. Remember that Donnie said that right in the Oval Office, I believe. We're going to own it. This Israel thing, temple, going to such a bad place, son. I could spend 3 hours explaining it to you, but I don't have the time nor the energy. The suspicious text messages between Tyler Robinson and his partner were reproduced for the charging document, so they were fucking fake like everyone thought. I'm not seeing many people report this, but they're pulling it from somewhere. This isn't an account that lies. When I read this, I said, of course. And I have a feeling the only reason we even know they were reproduced is because everyone took a look at them and no one bought them. No one believed them. So they had to throw something out there. Now, as I went through the comment section, there were several people that said, reproducing just means they took them from the phone company or whatever. I don't know if I'm buying that. That sounded like a script to me. It sounded like someone may have tried to write something based on hearsay, word of mouth, a witness. Because they want something to exist that doesn't exist or never existed or doesn't exist anymore, a manifesto. So when I hear they were reproduced for the charging document, remember that joke I told about give the FBI a couple days to write the manifesto? That's not why that's why they're not presenting it yet. They haven't written it yet. The texts were reproduced for the charging document. Since this is a thing, I'm going to assume they're fake. And again, I ain't buying those text messages. I ain't buying that there's a roommate or a transgender roommate till I seize the motherfucker. Because we're at the point again where abject fabrication, cells, networks, terror groups, Antifa, none of it exists, son. It's all excuses to build a Reich. Just like Adolf. I read you the article from 1939, son. It sounds like today. The two most prominent late-night white comedians. That's white with an H. White comedians. Got shit canned. Just like that article in 1939 with Joseph Goebbels involved. You in it, son. It's not over the horizon. You in it. Now. Ask Colbert. Ask Kimmel. Ask Terry Moran. Ask the guys down in CCOT that are never going to leave that place for the rest of their fucking life. This is Tim Walz on an interview. It looks like MSNBC or something. Let's hear what he has to say, because Tim's talking big shit lately. This is it. If you've ever wondered how democracy dies, you're witnessing it. This is North Korea style stuff. And it's being done because this is a weak, thin-skinned man who's failing as a president. All of the things he promised are not happening. This is exactly what dictators do. This is a terrible president and a terrible human being. Damn, that's Tim Walz, one of the nicest people I've ever seen. And he's right, every single point. And, people keep making excuses for him because maybe they don't see what I see. Maybe they're trying to still believe that this is somehow a normal thing that's going to end. No, this was all planned before Mr. Walz ever signed up to run for vice president. Again, Donnie tried to do a lot of this stuff in the first term. He did not have the sycophants in place. He staged a coup to stay in power forever. We got a preview of the dictator. Hitler tried to overthrow his government, but he wasn't president at the time. Only difference. Hitler went to prison for a little while. That's a difference as well. Let him out. Got back into politics. Should have been banned probably. And he got the keys back. So when you'll hear person after person, and they have good intentions. I'm not talking negative about the people who say it or Tim Walz. They'll say Donnie's doing this because his presidency is failing, the numbers are bad, blah, blah, blah. No, this was all planned before he got the keys back. In fact, son, it was planned before the first term, too. Almost every aspect of it, except for the crypto and all that. The AI, that wasn't as important back then. Donnie was younger, he had a lot of time to do all that. But the staying forever, never giving up power dictatorship, yeah, Donnie was already trying to do that in the first term. I don't know if you noticed the taking of Greenland. Remember he kept talking about that? Buying Greenland, getting Greenland somehow. So, son, this plan, they had it before the first term. The Epstein thing, yes, it did accelerate some things. Donnie got scared, and that was obvious. That didn't change the plan, though, in its, original conception. And again, this ain't Alex Jones in the Obama years where they're saying they're planning this, they're planning that, they're about to do that. No, none of it happened. Grifters, liars, snake oil salesmen. Again, if it wasn't this serious, if it wasn't that dire, my ass would not be here rambling, stuttering because I'm so tired. I know this is it. Again, my point. People say Donnie's doing this because of this because of that because of this. His numbers are bad. He's trying to... No, it was a plan before 2015. Just didn't have the sycophants. So he was going to do all this no matter what. Yes, there are events that may accelerate things, alter things slightly. The plan's still the same. A Reich, he in charge until he dies, and then the next sociopath takes over, and it's some kind of white nationalist Nazi movement exactly like in the 30s. There's a reason, class, again, that Donnie had Hitler's speeches, a copy of Hitler's speeches, next to his bed. That was common knowledge. That wasn't hidden information. Not Mein Kampf, because that's what everyone fucking says. No. Might as well have been, but whatever. Hitler's speeches, that's what Donnie had next to his bedside. So what does Donnie want to be? Who's Donnie's idol? Who does Donnie envy? Who does Donnie want to emulate? Who does Leon want to emulate? Well, they've both done Nazi salutes, class. Donnie's was on July 4th, one of them. Leon did his on Inauguration Day. Again, you're in that article, 1939. We're not at the 1939 point yet. We're very close, though. And all this was planned way before. Again, it's not just because its numbers are bad or this or nope. This was a plan a bunch of people had before 2015. A Reich in Nazism, well, Greasy Petey Thale and Leon from South Africa, they've been dreaming about that forever. Somehow they got the permission to get the big contracts from the government years ago. I don't know how. Let me move on. I digress too much. Again, a closet interview on the plane. NPR. Regarding Antifa, of course, Donnie cuts her off. Who are you with? NPR. You're still here? Won't be for long. Does Antifa have anything to do with your network? You see where they're going. They're going to try and say that liberal networks, liberal broadcasters, liberal ideology is what forced these white kids to start shooting at people. They're going to say liberal networks and rich liberals are funding Antifa, or why Antifa exists, or why people go out and shoot people. Donnie made a veiled threat there. Does Antifa have anything to do with your network? In other words, are you associated with them in some way because you're a liberal in his mind agency, NPR? And again, saying they're not going to be around for long. Who are you with? You still here? Won't be for long. Does Antifa have anything to do with your network? Antifa does not exist. They know it. Donnie knows. Miller knows. They stupid, but they ain't that stupid. It's so they can label anyone Antifa. Then they don't have to worry about that pesky citizenship problem. Because now you're a terrorist if they label you Antifa. They label your news agency, your channel, your whatever, you millionaires and billionaires that actually own big networks. They label you contributing to Antifa. There goes everything you own, your company, all seized by the Reich, son. You don't think that's going to happen to a lot of you? Even some of you that are loyal right now, that have paid tribute. A lot of you are in for a very rude awakening. When you put the mob in charge, things can disappear real quick, like your entire fucking business, your entire bank account, whatever they want to disappear. like in Russia. Does Antifa have anything to do with your network? Is trying to insinuate the idea. They've been doing it for a long time. That networks like NPR create terror groups. Nah, it seems like it really works the other way. Seems more like the right-wing machine creates the terrorists. It's just the way he handles the reporter. Again, you're seeing 3 or 4 of these a day. Kash Patel's notes during his congressional testimony as photographed by Getty. This is the head of the FBI. One of the parts of the note says, good fight with Swalwell. Held the line. Brush off something. Rise above. This is what the head of the FBI is. He's giving himself a motivational speech on paper. Because he ain't got no facts, son. This is... I almost wish I never saw this because, look, I know he was a fucking podcasting joke and a total traitor to this nation. But Jesus Christ, that's the thing about these people. They're such basic humans. None of them have any talent. None of them are interesting. They're all just fucking rejects of society. And I'm talking about their characters and personalities. Good fight with Swalwell. When you're in one of these hearings, you're not supposed to be giving yourself a motivational speech on your notepad. You're supposed to be taking notes about, points and questions, points you want to raise maybe. This guy's sniffling because he probably did coke before the hearing and he's sniffling. His nose is like itching for more. He's writing a motivational speech. It looks like this, by the way. Can literally read it right off the paper. You understand we are completely fucking doomed, right? Donnie gave a tour of the gold Oval Office. My God, I watched the footage. I wish I could show it to you. It's just cheap molding from Lowe's and just spray painted gold all over the place. And he's telling people it's 24 karat. No, it isn't. None of it's 24 karat. Jesus Christ. We're so fucking doomed. Trump shows off the Oval Office to his donors. That's all 24 karat gold. That's why it just beams. I just felt it was important for this office to take on a look that was appropriate. It's more representative of what it should be. Caesar's Palace, and I'm not talking about the casino. Again, when you look at that Oval Office with the 90,000 pieces of molding spray painted gold and vases spray painted gold and this spray painted gold. Class, does that look like a man who's leaving? Does that look like a man who's sane? Just judging on that alone, what he's turned that room into. That room screams sociopath. That room screams psychopath. That room screams God complex. Caesar, king, I'm never leaving, dictator. Just that room alone should tell everybody what they need to know, let alone the Sky Mansion bride plane from Qatar that you're paying $2 billion to fix up. Let alone the ballroom that you're paying for. The room alone should show you what you are dealing with. A demon. Someone who thinks he's king of the earth. Someone who thinks he's fucking God. You fucking kidding me? Bannon's back on the team with this comment. This is how far Bannon wants to take it. Says public and private schools should be designated terrorist organizations. You know, along the fantasy narrative that's been going on in the right-wing grift machine for decades, where kids are being indoctrinated in schools to be liberal. And they're the problem, not the white school shooters and, the white kid that shot Charlie Kirk, the white kid that shot at Donnie. That's not the problem in America, according to Steve Bannon and the Reich. The problem is public and private schools. We need to declare them terrorists. Class, I tell you every day, these people invert reality. Now schools are the enemy of the state. Schools! This is how far these fucking demons are taking it. Bannon gets on his show. He's got this like acoustic song in the background too as he's saying this at the schools. And you can tell he's playing to the camera and he's just hamming it up. And he's just in love with himself. And I listened to it to make sure he said this shit. And yeah, he said this shit. That's pure Nazism. Trying to declare schools as terror organizations. You got a real problem with people getting an education, don't you, Stevie? I can't believe this was said out loud. It's another way I know this country's over. That this cunt can say that on the air. That schools should be labeled terror groups. It also shows us how far gone America is. It also shows us where Stephen Miller, Bannon, Donnie, and all of them are. Again, this is all straight out of the Hitler playbook. He did all the same things. And again, the irony is the liberals were the last obstacle. He's the one they targeted first and targeted them very strongly. Same thing here. It's incredible. Here's Donnie basically saying to make fun of him is illegal. When you have networks, and take a look at him first in all his glory. When you have networks where I won an election in counties, I guess it's 2,600 to 525. That's called a landslide times 2. When you have that kind of popularity or voter support, and yet 97 of the newscasts are against me, I think that's really illegal. I told you there were Nazis. I told you this was a Reich. I told you it was going to go here. The President of the United States saying he's so popular that he feels it's wrong that any newscast or broadcaster speaks of him negatively. Not only does he think it's wrong, class, he thinks it's illegal. And he's making it illegal. Hence, Mr. Colbert and Mr. Kimmel. Hence, if you say something about Charlie Kirk, call their employer. It's so fucking over. I think that's really illegal because I'm so popular. Everybody loves me. Nah, everybody never loved him. He didn't even win the popular vote the first time. The second time, look, he ran against a black woman. We've never even had a woman president, let alone a black woman president in America. They couldn't have given Donnie a bigger gift. By throwing Joe under the bus. But we're here. And we're already at the point, 8 months in, where he thinks if he gets talked negatively about on television, that's illegal. Again, this is someone that's not mentally well. Never was. Parents sent him to military school for a fucking reason, son. And it wasn't a good one. So you have a psychopath, a sociopath, someone who's not mentally well, just like, kings throughout history, some of them were not there. They were sociopaths, they were narcissists, they had a God complex. They weren't right in the head, and they got the reins of power. Oh my God, that's a bad combination. That's what we have here. Again, Nero playing his fiddle as Rome burns. That's what we got here. A psychopath. A sociopath. With a God complex. President just said out loud, I think that's illegal because I'm so popular when they talk bad about me. Republican lawmakers have sent a letter to France, Canada, the UK, Australia, urging them to reject unilateral recognition of a Palestinian state at the UN General Assembly. Bibi and Donnie and the Reich, they is not happy about this. Hence this letter. Hence Donnie all of a sudden going to Britain and having a chat. I guess the chat didn't work. Look, the Europe, Australia, and Canada, it appears, will be on the side of Palestine, and I don't blame them. Russia, America, and Israel will be another team. And I have a feeling there will be a war between Russia, Israel, and America, and Europe, and Canada, and Australia. I have a feeling that's the direction all this is going to go. The sides are aligning. They've all decided, all right, Bibi's making his move. The Nazi Reich in America's making their move. We as Europe have to make our move. Palestinian statehood. It's an interesting play. You've got the Antichrist and the head of Israel on the other side, and Vlad the mobster. They don't want this right now. They got plans for Gaza and Palestine and Israel and all of it. This is throwing a big-ass monkey wrench in it. And that's why, again, you've got a bunch of people from our government writing a letter to try and stop it. You've got Donnie just happened to go to Britain right before the weekend where they were going to do this. So we know what was talked about over there. Donnie was trying to talk them out of it. I guess they said, fuck you. We can't trust you. You're trying to annex Canada, Greenland, etc. We know you're Vlad's bitch as well, so we can't trust you on that side of the fence either. So what's Europe and Canada and Australia supposed to do? I think they're doing exactly what they should be doing in response to what the other side's doing. The other side being Israel, Russia, and the United States. Where China will fall in all this, I have no idea. Maybe they'll just sit it out and watch us all kill each other. I don't know. Trump administration seeking congressional approval for $6.4 billion in new weapons sales to Israel. I'm not going to read that. It's going to be equipment and spare parts. And again, they got to finish the demolition phase, like the finance minister of Israel called it. And then they got resorts to build. And then they got a temple to build. That's the plan. Your money's going to pay for the weapons and a lot of, other aspects of it, by the way. That's also the plan. So I hope you're cool with it. This is Donnie arguing with a reporter again in the Oval Office, and I have more context on this comment. This was the opening kind of salvo. That's why I sued the New York Times 2 days ago for a lot of money. The reporter Carl says, a judge just threw that out. Then Trump's like, I'm winning the cases. No, that case got thrown the fuck out. He's not winning shit on that case right now. He could file it again, whatever. I'm winning the cases. No, he isn't winning the cases. He's a mobster at the top, and the companies are afraid. And they're paying him tribute and bribes in the form of settlements when they're not even losing the cases. That's really what's happening. So, but to the child, Donnie, that means he won the cases. No, it means you got the keys to the vault. You can have these people arrested, their companies closed down. He could do anything he wants to. They are scared shitless. So they realize that, this is why he sues. He just wants a settlement as a payoff. And then he goes away for a little while. Until he sues us again. Again, the first headline I read you was this case got thrown out. That's what Carl was saying. But Donnie was in the middle of insulting and bragging like he always does. Again, another question. When will we get the details on Memphis? Trump, quiet. You're really obnoxious. I'm not obnoxious. I'm trying to ask you about your plans for Memphis. He's calling a reporter obnoxious and quiet. I'm noticing this quiet word is coming out more often. The facade is dropping. Quiet, I'm the king. How dare you? That's where it's going, son. It's where it is now. The fuck am I talking about? Mr. President, what about Trump? Quiet, you're really obnoxious. Reporter, I'm not obnoxious. I'm trying to ask you about your plans for Memphis. Trump, you're really obnoxious. I'm not going to talk to you. How dare that reporter ask Caesar about his military takeover of the United States? How fucking dare he? That's the way Donnie treats it. Carl, you've said that you restored free speech in America. Is that free speech, including for people who are harshly critical of you? For your political opponents? For people who say things you don't like? Oof, ballsy question. Enjoy them now, because eventually there can be no real press in these events anymore. They'll be absolutely worthless. They'll be pure propaganda from beginning to end. Right now, we've got a few journalists willing to go out swinging before they get thrown the fuck out for good. Donnie says, I've become immune to it. He's never immune. Biggest snowflake ever fucking born. So is Adolf Hitler, by the way. You're not a wonderful person. Frankly, you're a terrible reporter. Again, the question was about, are you going to continue silencing people's free speech? No, what he's going to continue to do is insult people. That's his go-to, like a 3-year-old. So again, how dare this reporter point out that he's silencing free speech in this country? Literally. How dare a reporter bring up the military takeover to Caesar? It's so over, and you so gonna regret voting for him. My God, you just don't even know, son. Oh, that moment when you realize it's going to be a rough moment, son. The Trump administration unveiled a new crackdown on Friday on journalists at the Pentagon, saying it will require them to pledge they won't gather any info, even unclassified, that hasn't been expressly authorized for release, and will revoke the press credentials of those who do not obey. Look, the reporters ain't the damn problem at the Pentagon. Petey Hegseth has multiple leaks straight from him. The Signal app chat where they literally invited the fucking head editor from the Atlantic into the chat, son. The reporters isn't the problem. It's the Reich. But what are they doing here? Only Reich-approved news will be broadcast. If you violate that, you out. You're losing more of your country. Lost a little bit more today. Told you the fall ain't going to take 20, son. It ain't going to take 10. Less than that. The Trump administration just told reporters at the Pentagon they are no longer allowed to report info if it's not government authorized. That's Brian Tyler Cohen giving his version of it. Same thing, just worded differently. And yeah, just like he said, if it ain't government, if it ain't Reich authorized, you ain't using it. These people ain't using the word yet. I was using it day one because I knew exactly what it was, son. And you should have known too. Remember Inauguration Day? Remember Leon and the Nazi salute? Yeah, it's a Reich, son, and they believe it. That's why Donnie handpicked these cabinet people, Miss Levitt, all of them. They believe it, son. Donnie again in the Oval Office in all his syphilitic dementia glory. Nobody's done a better job than I've done on world peace. No one has settled so many wars as I have. Again, Donnie just blew 14 fishermen or 14 humans out of the water in boats recently. He bombed Iran. I believe he bombed Sudan and Yemen. He's turned the military against his own citizens. I don't know. He doesn't sound like he qualifies for the Peace Prize. But that's why Donnie said that right here. No one's stopped more wars than him. I'm surprised he didn't throw the number 7 back out there again. Oh, the Donnie Gold card. Another grift. I was wrong. It doesn't have the fight on the gold card. But it does have it on the currency that they're going to force on you soon. So, you know, another grift, it's got Donnie's face. It doesn't say America right there. I see the Statue of Liberty in the fucking background. Today, we're proud to announce the Trump Gold Card. The card will be available for $1 million for individuals, $2 million for corporations. Far too long, we have had millions of illegal aliens pouring into our country, and our immigration system was broken. It is beyond time that the American people and American taxpayers are benefiting from our legal immigration system. We anticipate the Trump Gold Card will generate well over $100 billion very quickly. This money will be used for reducing taxes, pro-growth projects, and paying down our debt. No, it won't. And the tariffs won't either. None of this is for America. Look at the card, son. Look at the card, class. Whose face is on it? None of it's for America. It's all for Donnie's pocket. And I'm sure if he were to invest some of that money in something, pro-growth projects, the ballroom, landscaping in D.C. using the military, you know, shit like that. Trump Gold Card for a processing fee after DHS vetting, a $1 million contribution receive U.S. residency in record time with the Trump Gold Card. Literally selling government services and selling citizenship. Again, if anyone ever deserved to be impeached and thrown the fuck out of office, it's this mother. This is the worst, most blatant, naked fucking grift I've ever seen in my life. The Trump Platinum Card. And again, it doesn't say the America Gold Card, the America Platinum Card, the Trump Platinum Card. You selling it on your back, son. Your tax money built all this fucking shit. And he's selling the services of the American government and citizenship. While he's rounding other people up and throwing them the fuck out. I guess if they've had $1 million, they could stay, huh? Trump Platinum Card. Sign up now and secure your place on the waiting list for the Trump Platinum Card. Oh, wow, there's a waiting list. For a processing fee, after DHS vetting, a $5 million contribution. Wait a minute. There's a processing fee before... I've never seen such naked fucking greed and grifting. Oh my God. There's a processing fee before the $5 million. You will have the ability to spend up to 270 days in the U.S. without being subject to taxes. Now you get to dodge taxes if you buy the Platinum Card for $5 million. Under grifter in the dictionary, there should be a picture of Donald Trump. If any other president tried to do this, what I just read to you, they would have been impeached the next fucking day. I've never seen nothing like it. This is Donnie talking shit on David Letterman because David Letterman critiqued him. Whatever happened to the very highly overrated David Letterman, whose ratings were never very good either? He looks like hell, but at least he knew when to quit. Loser. When to quit? The guy was on TV for decades. I think he succeeded in the comedy business. In the late night entertainment. I think he made it. The guy had a nice long run. He retired. Where's the loser part? And Donnie going to talk about how people look. Donnie looks like Alfred Hitchcock in Orange Face with lifts and a girdle and a diaper on and the worst, most hideous comb over I've ever fucking seen. I thought Letterman looked pretty good. He was thin. He wasn't fat. The beard's kind of freaky and crazy looking, but, you know, he looks pretty good to me. For his age, my God. Yeah, the loser who was on, like, late night TV for, like, 30 fucking years. No, Dave should have been a grifter like Donnie. All he had to do is just hold up a Bible and run for president. Because that's how fucking stupid the rubes are. Today we're proud to announce the Trump Gold Card. Oh, I'm not going to read this. This is just a different format of the same thing. Donnie back at the White House again. Let's get a few more in. God, am I almost at the end of this fucking shit? All right, this is the end. What comes next after designating Antifa as a terrorist organization? We have others we are going to designate too. We know, Donnie. That's what I've been trying to tell people for so long. Other groups will be added. It started off with Muslim visa holders in school that wrote negative things about Israel. They went to the gulag for a while, got deported, some of them. Then it went to illegal aliens. Now we're on homeless being rounded up. We're on transgender. What did they call them? Militant transgender something? More groups. Now we've got Antifa, which doesn't exist. So we can slap that label on anybody. And then we're going to do others. But we're going to look at the people who funded Antifa. Antifa doesn't exist. No one funded it. It doesn't matter. The right going to say someone did. They're going to say it exists. And they ain't going to say white kids in the sticks with their grandpappy's rifle are the problem. They're going to say Antifa, that doesn't exist. The fantasy. The MAGA fantasy. I'm tired, people, and it just gets worse every day. So I'm just going to say don't take the mark when it comes. There are no trade backs, take backs. I'm sorry, God. I didn't mean it when I vowed to renounce you or denounce you. I didn't mean it when I took the mark. No arguments will be heard, son. I'm sorry. And that's guaranteed. That's not just one man's opinion. No arguments will be heard. So don't take it, no matter what it costs you, and it will cost you not taking it. I don't expect people to understand the concept. It's not easy for me to understand or accept. God asks a lot of us to believe in something we cannot see, but I know what I'm seeing right now. What I'm seeing right now, the past, since Donnie took over, since Assassination Day, for the past 10 years, tells me all I need to know. And if I'm wrong, then in a few years, call me an idiot. I die, whatever. Great. Don't care. If I'm right, horrors you can't imagine. Some we've seen already. And something great at the end for those that don't take the mark. I don't know what that great thing will be like. All I know is this. Very hard to have faith in that. Whether one has faith in that or not, maybe just preaching what is good is worthwhile. Maybe that's even enough. I have to believe, well, I don't have to. I believe what I'm seeing before me right now. So if these horrific things are true that were written, then I guess the good things must be as well, right? And that's the best I can do, because you can't prove God. It's impossible. So the best I can do for myself and for you is say, okay, I recognize what's happening before my eyes. I always wondered how it would be, how it was possible. Now I know. Therefore, if that part of the story is true and it's playing out before my eyes, probably result in my death at some point. Then that other part must be true as well, right? The good part. That's the best I can offer myself and you. But the best advice I could give any human ever is don't take the mark, son. And I'm going to get going. And as always, PayPal at the top of the comment section if you'd like to help out. Until the next episode, have a wonderful evening.